turmoil arrives on its own accord and it must leave by its own accord. In what way is that accomplished?
There's no way that I can answer that question. There's no way that I can say, let me tell you, it's about being thrown into the water and then coming out and becoming wet. And then me asking you, what do you feel right now? And then you saying, I'm wet. And I ask you, what does wet mean? You have no way to describe that. So what am I going to say? Do these things and you'll be out of turmoil? No. My discourses, my Siddha scrolls, those things are an ongoing exposure to a human being, which slowly seeps into the bones without any effort from themselves and without a shadow of a prescription. So this is not a 5-step plan. So can you tell me how to get out of turmoil? That's nonsense. No, I will tell you this: turmoil will leave on its own if there is the appropriate immersion, if there is the appropriate and systematic and ongoing and consistent exposure to truth. It will leave on its own.
So do you think that the few people who are serious about the truth, are we trying too hard to understand the notion of the truth? Is that why it's elusive to the majority of us?
No, I don't think there's a reason. I would say my first answer would be nobody really is interested in the truth. And it's not a good thing or a bad thing. I keep coming back to that. It is not a good thing or a bad thing. It is virtually impossible to talk to people. And it isn't the people's fault. It's society's fault. It's because they have become conditioned to hear what you didn't say. And it's not their fault because in all cases, they're right. So for instance, if I say what I just said, if I say they don't want to hear the truth, they don't hear that. What they hear is they don't want to hear the truth and they should. Okay? And they're not wrong to hear that because that's the only message being propagated. Their whole entire life, they are surrounded by loudspeakers in every direction, even from the underside. Everything is in that vein. You should be doing this. And anything that's negative, anything that's in the negative, which says, well, because you don't do this. The implication absolutely 100,000% is that they're saying that you should do this. And I'm not. I'm saying things at face value. But human beings are not able to see things at face value because they've been conditioned to be prescribed to. And that's the only microphone through which they hear.
Agreed, 1,000%. So when you think about the emotional impact, obviously, that it's having on people is real. I want to ask you something about the economic impact. The economic impact, especially the